gentleman from North Carolina, and now we'll yield 5 minutes to Ms. Espaillat from New York.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mister, I apologize.
Yes. I don't want to be the subject of one of their testimonies. Mr. Gupta, the proposed cuts have been presented in a way that leadership has asserted they would protect certain areas and not cut those particular areas, including Social Security. They asserted that they will not touch Social Security. On many occasions, they've said that. Defense, Homeland Security, and Medicare. I heard some say they will not cut Medicare. If that occurs, of course, this will impact the level of cuts in other areas because you will have to sort of like make up the funding somewhere. What is your projection on the levels of cuts for other areas if these particular areas, if they kept their promise and did not cut these areas?
So a lot depends. It's intentionally vague, and that means we have to assume a few things. But if we assume veterans' medical care, which on the non-defense side is sort of the largest single item for appropriations, is protected, and we assume growth that we meet the needs of veterans, we see the similar growth that we've had in defense in recent years, you may have to eliminate virtually all that's left.
And do you feel that this massive budget cuts will have not just an impact on the quality of services and the services rendered to average Americans, but that it will also have an impact on the economy? What do you think is the impact of this scheme on the economy?
That's right. Moody's estimates that several 100,000 jobs would be lost. Our government does actually support our labor force and ensures that we have high employment, especially compared to a lot of our peer countries. And these investments, including non-defense discretionary investments, support our economic activity across the board.
And what do you think it will have, the impact that it will have in more than just a budget cycle, let's say in the next decade, if these cuts were perpetrated?
Well, we're already far below 47-year averages on the non-defense discretionary side. We have seen real harm, inability to keep up with needs on Social Security administration, for example. People have to wait a long time for disability benefits, retirement benefits, et cetera. But similarly on just basic safety functions of the government. And that will only worsen over time.
Now, Mr. Gupta, I think you made a good assessment on the impact on the economy, but the Default on American Act would also impose work requirement on Medicaid recipients and increase work requirements for SNAP recipients, right? It is often the assumption their assumption is that individuals are now working and relying on safety net programs to meet the basic needs. Which groups do you think this will hurt? How will this hurt America?
Well, it'll catch a lot of people, even people maybe the Republicans don't intend to catch, because it turns out a lot of people who fail to meet these sorts of requirements actually might have been exempt. They might have been compliant. But when you're a student, say, working full-time and you should be exempt, but you're focusing on your studies, dealing with another agency and their requirements and documentation, this isn't about just going online and filling out a form. There's a lot of forced documentation. So all of that would sweep a lot of people into this sort of dragnet.
And what would you think the long-term effect that this increased requirements will have on the workforce and the economy? We're talking about the economy. That's why we're here. This is the Budget Committee.
Right. Counterproductive. I mean, we know Medicaid improves student achievement. We know kids who grow up in families that participate in SNAP do much better when they're adults than otherwise. So this is completely counterproductive, penny wise and pound foolish.
Thank you, Mr. Gutta. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
I thank Mr. Espaillat.